All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Friday live session. I don't know if it's fair to call this one a workout, because technically we're just doing stretching mobility. But I think you'll probably get a little heart rate up. So today we're going to focus on mobility, especially for us golfers. And I wouldn't say us golfers, because I don't play enough golf. But if you're a golfer and you're interested in improving your flexibility and mobility, this session is for you. Alright, but I will say also, stretching and mobility, all these movements I'm about to show you, it can be beneficial to anyone that's looking to improve their stretching and mobility. You know, I'm going to focus a lot on some pelvic or hip mobility, shoulder mobility, but especially joint mobility in general, and also posterior chain flexibility. So yes, we'll have a little bit of a golf focus, and I'll probably mention how this can be beneficial to golfers as we go. But as I mentioned, if you need to improve your flexibility and mobility, this live workout is definitely, you can get a lot out of it. All right, so the first one we're going to do, we're going to start down on the ground. We're going to do something very common that I think a lot of people, non-golfers and golfers alike, to do is an up dog, down dog, right? So something good for posterior chain. Drive to my down dog, right? And I know there's a lot of people that might have a straight leg down dog and go like this. If you're capable of doing that, great. It's a great calf stretch too. But I have a lot of people, you can just kind of bend your knees slightly, push your chest to the top of your thighs. Couple deep breaths in and out. And then we'll go into the up dog, right? Head and chest up, hips down. You can go on the top of your feet too. If you want a little bit more tension. If you have lower back issues, this may be a challenging position. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you may not want to do it, right? Just because, especially if you have some immediate and chronic lower back issues or injury. Back to up dog, or down dog, excuse me. Really focus in this movement, pushing my chest to the top of my thighs. I feel that mainly in my hamstrings, and like I said, I drive my heels down when I'm in that up-down dog position to get a little of that calf stretch too. Give me one more each. And I usually move my feet. I don't have my feet locked in place like in these two movements that I go back in between. Alright? There's a little bit more straight leg, but I let my knees bent slightly. I really feel that up in my upper back too, right? If I focus on trying to retract my shoulder blades, so if I get here, instead of letting my hips kind of, my trap shrug, I kind of pull my shoulder blades together also. Same thing with this, really trying to pull my shoulder blades down my back when I get in this position. Alright, so now we're going to go another little kind of, this is more flexibility for muscles that surround your pelvis, but adductor stretch here. Adductor muscles inside your thighs, when people refer to as their groin muscle. Legs out to the side. I'm kind of really forcing tension into the ground right here, this way. Right? So obviously my knee won't bend that direction, but I try to force it, feel like I'm trying to force it to bend that direction. And it lights up that muscle inside the thigh. Okay? And I'm just going to rock my butt back and forth. I'll show you from the side, or from a side view, when I switch legs. I'm going to do this about 10 times. When I rock back and forth, I can feel that stretch move around the adductor. Alright? I wrote a blog recently for, TamStrength.com. And they said anywhere, and there's a couple of different varying, opinions, and it kind of depends what you classify as the pelvis or where the pelvis, attaches, sort of muscles that attach. But there are over 20 different muscle groups attached inside the pelvis. So, in or around the pelvis. So, there's a lot of stretch and mobility that goes into, trying to improve your flexibility and mobility in that area. And I would say if I had to pick one area, here's the side view of the adductor stretch. Legs out to the side, toe going forward, leg out to the side, toe going forward. And then I'm just putting force down and rocking my butt back and forth. Adductor rocker. I know sometimes I get a little, I guess combine terms a little too often. Sometimes this is what a rocker stretch, opposed to adductor. You're just out there stretching, trying to do that force into the ground. This is a rocker, adductor rocker. But as I was kind of just saying, that when it comes to the most important aspect of mobility, or point, you have to pick one joint, or technically two joints, that most important to the golf swing, I would say the hips, the pelvis, or the hips are the most important. Hip rotation, hip mobility. If you lack that, yes, you can definitely still, I think, be a good golfer, but it's very challenging. It's very challenging because the most efficient swing comes with the most efficient swing. The rotation begins and both the backswing and the downswing is initiated by the pelvic movement. Right, so being able to control your pelvis is huge. Okay, all right. So now what we're going to do another hip mobility is the hip car. And if you guys have tuned into any of the live workouts before, car is a big part of our live workouts. We do them all for different joints. So the side lane hip car, which is what we're about to do, that's probably, if I had one move that a golfer can do, those pre-round, post-round to help their golf game, this is probably it. All right? So we're going to start here. Knee to elbow. Knee to sky, internally rotate. And I'm going to drive my heel back for extension. Knee to ceiling for external rotation. Knee my elbow back down. Alright? Yep. The ceiling, internal rotation. And that's the one that really gets a lot of people. So I got here, flexion, abduction, this, internal rotation. And it's tough. Alright? It is a challenging movement. People lack that range of motion. And this one, external rotation, for me, it's a little easier, external. But it's person dependent. Alright, so I have some golfers that come in and have sufficient internal rotation, but their external rotation is lacking. Alright, so you can work on that with not only movements like this, or a movement like this, but other movements. And when you swing a golf club, both hips, your right hip and your left hip, obviously it doesn't matter if you're right or lefty, but both hips internally and externally rotate on every golf swing. So I'll show you from the side, kind of a little side view of this one. So it's critical to have adequate internal and external rotation on both your left hip and your right hip. Alright, so I can feel this one, my internal, I feel is probably lacking. Yeah, that one's a lot more challenging right there. External, not so bad. I feel at least it doesn't feel as nearly as tight as the right side. But here, the left internal rotation. Yeah, that's a toughie. Oh yeah. I didn't get out for my walk today. I'm a little disappointed. It's raining here currently in Tampa, Florida, so it's a little bit, normally I kind of warm up, but luckily got a little lower impact live workout today, which is much needed. One more on this. Knee to elbow, knee to ceiling, internal rotation. Alright, and I kick it back. External rotation. Alright, so I get here and then I externally rotate. Alright? Alright, so another kind of, let's do a little thoracic spine. I was laying on my zipper, I was pulling inside of it. Alright, so actually we're going to do I'm going to do the figure four. This is another good stretch. This is not necessarily mobility, this is more flexibility for the muscles that surround the pelvis. We call it a glute stretch, figure four, right? Right ankle, left knee, reaching between my thighs. Grab the front of my left shin, keep my head back down, pull my shin towards my chest. So this is my external rotation. And I'm actually, the more I pull here, the more I'm kind of essentially almost manually externally rotate my right there. Then I'm going to combo this and do a little internal rotation stretch for my left hip. All right, so right now what I'm doing, my right foot is pushing the left knee down. Keeping my head back down once again. And I'm trying to really push here, and I feel the stretch into my hip, into my left side of my lower back right here. I'm just holding for about 10 seconds or so each side. You can do longer. I recommend if you do longer, which is a good way to try to actually change the flexibility, the capacity for your muscles to be more flexible. You have to do longer holds, So quads, especially you should try to wait to do longer holds till after, say, like playing around golf. That's what research suggests. And some people are person dependent, maybe they enjoy the longer holds, but typically a more active type of warm-up that includes mobility and stretching, and we call this kind of active stretching, where we're doing short durations for our holds and switching back and forth between movements, is better served to be a pre-round kind of warm-up. But the long static holds are also good and beneficial too. That's really where you can kind of achieve, improved flexibility. All right, let's switch sides. Shape this one down. Yeah, it's interesting. So that's the left hip external rotation. Yeah, I think that's what I was saying that. Left hip external rotation. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, that was the one I was doing. So now I'm all confused. But you can kind of see the range. I don't know if it's hard to tell, but you can see how this knee, just without my hands, it looks, the angle is way different than this, right? See, that one I can really kind of almost do. I mean, I've got to give you exactly the angles, but there's a less of an angle here than on this one, right? And it definitely feels tighter, for lack of better words, than this side. Right, I feel it on the left side of my butt cheek, kind of glutes area, piriformis. Right, and then I'll go this way. Oh, my right internal, which is, that one's feeling a little tight too. It's interesting. This is kind of one of my go-tos. Yes, like I said, I don't play golf every day, work with golfers every day, but I don't, this is a go-to for if you're a golfer or not. This is great for internal and external rotation, like I mentioned earlier, how important that is to golfers. But, I mean, just hip mobility, I think it's important for everyone. Especially, maybe the only demo that, that doesn't really need to work on hip mobility, maybe, teenagers and 20-year-olds, but everybody past that, we need to work on this because, obviously a lot of sitting, depending on your occupation, this could sitting for long periods of time, and even standing for long periods of time, can have a negative impact on the flexibility and mobility of the muscles and joints that make up your core, your pelvis, Alright, I'm going to stand up after this one, get off the ground, right? Do a little bit more thoracic spine mobility, so your mid-spine, your T-spine, right? That is a huge part of that, and being able to rotate that, another big part of the golf swing. As you can imagine, the stuff that gets that real big turn, the ability to turn and get that club with a long swing path to put more force or more speed, the thoracic spine, which does the majority of the rotating, is able to rotate. Having the mobility there is important. Okay? So we're going to do an A-frame stretch. So what I'm going to do a nice hinge, I'll show you from the side, and I'm connecting my elbow inside my thigh. I put my hand here, you don't have to necessarily do that, but I just let it rest there, and I'm going to reach to my face, and up to the ceiling, back down. So this is the A-frame stretch. Okay? Pull like I'm pulling a bowstring, and reach. You get some scapular protraction, and then reach. Okay? Two more on the side. Let me switch. Switch sides. I'll show you from the side this time, right? Here we go. Alright. Good hinge. Hold. Reach. Oh yeah. That left scapula. I can feel it. Oh yeah. It's tight. Really, when we're going to head up there and work that scapula in a second after this. I mean, I'm working it right now, but we're going to go into our one more. Scapula cars. All right, scapula cars. Once again, another car. Like I said, if you, I say like I said, if you work or you incorporate cars into kind of your go-to golf warm-up, it's definitely going to be beneficial to you because, like I said, we're going to go a couple other ones, but hips, shoulders, scapula, neck. I mean, there's knee cars, there's ankle cars also, but wrist cars, which is definitely beneficial to golfers. We'll show those at the end. You incorporate those, you're definitely going to be starting off on the right foot. All right, so scapular card. I've reviewed this one before. We've done it in other live workouts, but I love it. So I'm going to show you from the back side here. If you can kind of hold, I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see, but I'm going to pinch my shoulder blades together, elevate them, protract, spread them apart, and try to drop them down. Depression. Squeeze together, elevate, protract, depression. I'm going to keep going this direction for 2 more reps, and then I'm going to switch. Now you really try to focus on just the, you don't want to kind of, you are shrugging and things like that, okay? So we're going to go elevation, retraction, depression, protraction. And I got these here to try to keep me honest, right? My thumbs are kind of the, I guess they're the visual aid to see if you're completing the movement, right? So we're not doing anything like this, not going there yet for the shoulder yet. We're trying to move those shoulder blades. Yes, your shoulders are definitely working. You're using shoulder muscles, trap muscles to move that scapula. But you're trying to focus on moving the scapula through its range of motion. Ooh. If you ever have an upper back and neck pain, oh yeah. That's a good one just to have to do on a regular basis. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a single leg reach. A little hamstring, posterior chain. This is a dynamic balance movement, really, which is great for, I mean, you can use this into a golf fitness workout, but it's a good movement. You can see a lot of pro golfers, they might do this with a warm-up on the range. I'm going to show you 2 kind of options. The first one we're going to do is we're going to do the airplane from single leg hinge, okay? So I go into my airplane, right? Like, ooh, I'm flying. And I'm going to slowly keep my eyes on the spot on the ground, slowly rotate my thoracic spine, right and left. I start on my left foot, which is my good foot. So right foot might be a little challenging, but I'll show you a little modification. If I fall over, I'll show you what you guys can do. Alright, now switch rope. Like I said, right foot's not nearly, I'm not that great on my right foot balance. Left foot, for some of you, you know I'm a righty, way better for balancing. Alright. I'm trying to pinch my shoulder blades as I already fall over. I try to pinch my shoulder blades together as I do this. Balance is a great, basically, I would say, aspect of golf fitness, even though, like I said, balance training is really beneficial to everyone, regardless if you play golf or not. But it really helps with core control. That's what's stabilizing me here right now. Yes, my foot's working too, so I'm getting some proprioception, working a little bit of strength in the leg. But really, my core is stabilizing me as I move my upper body. Okay? Kind of bailed out on my last one. So I'll show you. If you're having trouble, yes, you should really try to work and challenge yourself with a single leg. But safety first, and this is a great way that you can kind of take a step back in order to get to single leg, is what we call staggered stance or sprinter stance, right? So I've just got that toe lightly on the ground, all my weight's on my lead leg, just like this, right? But now I'm just going right there. Just a little tap, Hit that hinge, so a staggered hinge, and then the rest rotation. Right? I'm putting very little weight on that left toe. Okay? But I'm still getting the same movement. Right? Still getting stabilized with that core. So like I said, I would say give the single leg a try, but if you're having problems, if you're not feeling like you're getting accomplished, getting frustrated, just drop that toe, get in a staggered stance. Alright. Neck car, and wrist car to finish this out. Okay? Now there's a ton of other movements we can do, but we're just going to a little preview today of a couple movements that I love to do for golfers, not only here in the session, but what I would recommend you do before you leave, or before you play golf. Okay? So first one, neck car. Right? Here, we're going to pull the head back, chin to chest, chin to left collarbone. Rotate, try to point my ear to the sky, chin to the sky, ear to the shoulder, chin to collarbone, back to my chest. Reset, we'll go the other way. Now, if that's a little too, you feel like you're not really hitting those points, connection points, you can kind of just separate them, right? You can go chin to chest, tight to center. Chin to left collarbone, tight to center. Chin right collarbone. And believe it or not, neck mobility has a very big impact on especially the length of the backswing. Think about it, right? You have to watch the ball. So you get here, and if you lack neck mobility, I don't have a lot. My neck mobility I work on it, but is limited. So, and if my head if I can't rotate, I start going like this. I start losing sight of the ball. So instead of that, people will just limit their backswing, right? So they can see the ball, right? All right, last one. I think I said wrist car, but I'm going to do two more. So wrist car here. Great way, you can either put it up on a stable surface or control your wrist, dig that elbow into your body, go a little bit below kind of your watch line if you have a watch, and think about it. We're going to try to, see if we can go here. Flex up, rotate, all right? Try to take that wrist, full range of motion, all right? Both ways. Try not to flex the fingers. I'm going to see if I can do a good job. Now, you can also challenge yourself. I've seen the trainers do it, where they put their cell phone right here and they move it. And if the cell phone falls, they're basically moving too much. Because that means basically you're working from your elbow too, right? You try to want to isolate the wrist. Let's do this side. Neck and wrist mobility for me are challenges, to say the least. So I'm probably cheating a little bit, quote unquote cheating, by holding this. Like I probably should just try, definitely challenging. Definitely challenging. Whew. All right, so last one. This is kind of a go-to one for golfers, especially warm-up wise, is pelvic rotations and tilts from your golf hinge, right? So this is our golf hinge. I'm doing basically kind of like what I would look like in a mid-iron hinge. And then I'm going to tilt. This is anterior tilt, posterior tilt. And I'm really trying to isolate just pelvic movement, right? Trying to minimize lower body or upper body movement. So I'm not doing this, that, right? I'm staying locked in. Trying to move just my pelvis. It's got a little shaking, which is kind of an indicator that core is either tired or needs some work. And then we got rotations. All right, last one for the day, folks. Okay, we're going to rotate that pelvis. Okay. You guys, hopefully you can see this is being pretty still. Knees are moving a little bit, but they're not straightening. They're just moving to my pelvis. It's moving. Whew. All right. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. Got something out of it, golfer or non-golfer. If you didn't see it today, it will be up on our page the next week, and then it goes into the library on our YouTube channel, Tampa Strength Academy. So if you missed any of the past live workouts, go over there, check it out on YouTube. All right? I will see you guys next week.